recap brought to you by our friends at Gutter Works. Always well hung, just like Cameron Sackadoo.
Oh,
It's a good unit there.
that is a kit.
Good unit. All right, well, somebody beat Jett. The streak's done.
Yeah, but I tell you what, we'll get to him. He would have won that race. Like he was.
Yeah. So this is a very Cooper Webb race here. That track was super technical.
Very
he was
bulldoggish.
very opportunistic and very bulldoggish, and he just kind of rode his lines. It's actually ironic because in the qualifying show I had said he's going to have issues because he can't go in the bottom of the corners because they were full of water.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he was running lower lines than a lot of other people, but he still couldn't go all the way in the bottom. But again,
In the main, he made him work. He had a couple make him work.
I was going to say, how'd you like how he cut that one in during the main?
By the end, it was like perfect.
Yeah, like he cut it in about halfway through, and you saw him go through the inside of the corner and almost like get loose because he was trying to spin the rear wheel enough to make a line there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what corner,
It
but
was.
they commented
after
on
that
it.
First
Rhythm, wasn't
that
it?
was the first rhythm, and then you turned left, and they were going like 3-3-2,
Yeah,
and then the whoops.
yeah,
right?
and in the bottom of that turn, there was one point because Ricky even made mention of it, of like, man, Cooper Webb just trying to cut another line in down there, and like the reason he got kind of cattywampus in the bottom is because he was literally popping that clutch to try to dig a rut down there. It's wild to watch, man. It's really wild.
When he's got a bike working and the way he can just stick it to the bottom of a corner like that, it is impressive to watch. It's super cool. And man, that's just what he does. Like that kind of ride like that is where he just never gives up, never say die, just keeps working the guy the whole race. Like that's why he's a 2-time champ.
Yep.
However, if that were Jett out front, he ain't doing that to him. I don't think he can do it.
No.
That's the one guy I don't think he can wear down like that.
No. And I mean, here's the thing. The racecraft from Webb was impeccable, especially at the end there going into that last corner. Like he knew that Chase was going to try to do something, go inside. And I give Chase credit. Chase did everything he possibly could there other than really get alongside him and just wreck them both.
Yeah, I mean, you're not passing Cooper Webb in the last corner.
No.
Sorry.
No, it's not happening. So, and Chase Sexton was second.
No, how about the Morning Wood?
Oh, yeah.
How are you going to forget about the Morning Wood?
Oh, my God. I was
Presented by
laughing
Gutter Works.
so hard at that. I mean, I literally laughed out loud, and I looked at Ashley. I was like, he just said hard as morning wood on TV.
I didn't hear that, and then the guys I was with, they said he said that, and I was like, did he really? Did he really say that?
Oh, yeah. His forearms were hard as morning wood.
Oh, man, that's awesome. And I think these guys are getting to the point, it's like, oh, what are you going to do? Find me $1,000? I just made 60.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or more than that, probably.
More. It's between 100 and
Here, how about
150 now.
So for the listeners that are wondering what I'm doing here,
you can check out our Twitter.
Yeah, check out the Twitter. But I put Cooper Webb after tonight's win, and it's that gif of Quagmire. He comes walking out on the front porch, and
After
his
he
left
discovered
forearm,
internet porn.
Yeah, his left forearm is just roached. So yeah, that's Cooper Webb.
That man, yeah. So
hilarious. I love it. But we need some shit like that.
Yeah.
That's like some Ricky Bobby shit. You know what I mean?
Yep. And he gets it down to 16 points. I mean,
it's a quagmire.
Has it lowered your value on thinking that
No.
they're your percentage that you think Jett's gonna? No.
No,
Okay.
man. It's I don't know, man. I don't think he can bully Jett. I don't know why.
No.
I don't know. It's just
No. And
he might be able to. We'll see down the stretch.
I was say, and we can. I mean, I guess we can just talk about all three of them. We can talk about him. We can talk about Sexton, who got second.
Yeah,
and we can talk about
get
Jett,
into
who
Sexton
got third.
real quick because there are a couple key points I think that lost that race for him.
So, who is getting their ass reamed this week at KTM for the bike stalling?
I don't know. Sexton is visibly not happy. And hearing some of those interviews on AC's Unplugged pod there where he was talking about how angry he was with Honda and some of the comments he was making to those guys.
Yeah.
Yes, he's maybe a little older, maybe tamed himself down a little bit, but I think there's probably some smart-ass remarks being made still. And it's not going good, not going well.
I feel that KTM is the Mercedes team of motocross.
Owen Rogers, Toto Wolff.
Yeah, we know what we're doing. you need to figure it out.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, that's the mentality they gave Webb.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's interesting the different things they're doing to try to make Chase comfortable here, and it's still
isn't really working. He's looked a lot better. Yes, the hand is healing.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what lost that race for him. He didn't change his line before the mechanics area.
He has a terrible habit of doing that.
Yeah, he was just landed into that rut, and 3/4 of the way through that rut was just like running into a brick wall. It's just knifing the front end. He stalled it once.
He's very Jeremy Martin-esque of he will pick his line, and he's just going to go through that line for the entire race no matter what.
Roczen does that shit too.
Yeah, so...
he lost time in that corner every time.
Yeah, and he knows he struggles with the line selection. He says he openly talks about it, but then like it just doesn't ever seem to change.
Yeah.
So
if I'm watching that race back, like that was the killer. Mm-hmm. Like that one corner, he would have tucked in and went to that inside that Webb was running.
Yep.
It'd be a whole different race.
Yep. Sure.
Paycheck would be a little different too.
Yeah. So. Third place Jett, and I mean, Justin's not here to argue this, which sucks because I would love to have this conversation with him. But I think he answered all the questions last night, and JT has been very astute with this, and I 100% agree with him. If Jett just rides his 80% like he always does and lets the race come to him, he beats everybody all the time anyway. Because that's what he was doing last night.
That's what he did in that Triple Crown.
It's what he did in the Triple Crown. It's what he did last night, especially in that heat. He was doing it in that main up until the point.
He was turning it up in that main a little bit.
He never...
He turned it up and started hitting that wall, and he was like 3 seconds a lap. Like, he was on those guys with 14 minutes left.
Second and a half a lap faster every single lap until... he made contact with Webb. Right.
So that's what I'm saying. He had a shit start, slid off the start or whatever. And dude, I was like, holy shit, he's there with 14 minutes left. Like, there's no way he doesn't win.
Yep.
That happened. He was coming again. I believe he would have made a charge again.
I think he said he made another mistake. And that was when he went.
The lapper happened.
Yeah.
He stalled it, and the VRM kicked in.
Yep. And he went, oh, okay.
I don't need it.
Yep.
16 points.
Third place is good. Which, again, and JT's point is just, it is so blatantly obvious. Because we watched it, again, as much as I've watched him ride, and watching him in that heat with AP battling, and he's not over the top. And in the main, I mean, I guess to you it looked like he was, to me, there was never a point in that main that I went, he's really pushing the edge. It was
maybe he was pushing, like, but it didn't look like it, and that's just his style. I think I don't know.
I feel like in the races past here of this year, where he started to push it to try to go to the front, and gone past that, say 80%.
He does make mistakes.
You can see it, and you can see the mistakes building, and then something happens.
Yeah.
Where, like, last night, I never felt like that at all. He was just so dialed in with lines and everything, and he was so fast.
Well, and fair point, because when he was against the ropes, so to speak, he did start making mistakes coming through, and he was smart enough to say, okay, I'm backing it down.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dangerous at that age.
And again, one thing, if he just backs off in that corner and says, I don't have to get him right here, he gets him in the next straightaway or something.
Yeah. He goes 3 in out of that corner, the only guy that was doing it.
He was
3ing out of that corner.
Ability to turn it up and make up a half a second in a corner and pass 2 dudes in a corner is incredible.
He does some incredible stuff.
So, have you heard... Did you listen to Pulp with DB last week?
Yeah, maybe I missed what you're...
Did you hear... And I haven't hit up Daniel Blair yet to ask him if he's heard anything, but did you hear his theory of Jett will do this until he gets bored and moves to MotoGP?
MotoGP? Or did he mean MXGP?
No, he said MotoGP. He dropped it several times.
Oh, I know that. Like on a crotch rocket?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
I mean, if he goes to MXGP, what's the difference going to be over there? He's
don't
going to
know.
go 57-0.
I don't know, it'd be sweet, but
I mean, that's the thing is like
MotoGP, that would be pretty crazy.
Because as he said, he's like, dude, he's like, once he gets bored, he goes, he's going to look for the next challenge because he'll get bored long before he should retire.
That'll be pretty incredible if he goes to MotoGP.
Because
that'd be unheard of.
I mean, well, no, not really. There was a guy back in the day who did it. Did Bale do it? Was it Jean-Michel Bale?
I don't think, no. Like, Jeff Ward got in Indy cars and stuff.
No. There's a dude that did MXGPs, came over and did motocross and supercross. I think it was Bale. I really do think it was Bale.
I don't know.
And then went and did MotoGP also.
I don't know. Somebody fact check us in the comments.
Probably, yeah. But there is some guy from back like 80s, 90s era that did it. And honestly, I could see it, man. I could see it.
I guess he's got like the Marc Marquez kind of connection, but
well, I mean, the thing is like think about it here. The way this is going,
Jean-Michel Bale did go race.
See, my brain was working.
Well, I'm looking here. He did go do road racing. So, the U.S. Grand Prix. Yeah, he did MotoGP. Bale did. Wow.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that pull there.
This guy.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is like it makes sense because think about it. If this trend continues, barring an injury, I mean, by the time he's 25, he could have 4 or 5 outdoor titles with multiple perfect seasons and 3 or 4 supercross titles. Easy.
I think he...
So then at that point, what are you doing?
Yeah, but I think it all depends on if he's with Honda that whole time. If he rides this contract out and then Ducati comes in, they scoop him, then he's got a new challenge to try to figure Ducati out and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that gives him probably another 2 years, another 3 years, something like that.
But still, I mean, you're looking at 26, 27. I mean, he could be... And here's the other thing, too, is like, even if he gets on a different bike... Okay, we've seen it with Kenny. Kenny make that fucking 2012 Suzuki win. Okay,
it took him a while, though.
Doesn't matter. You put Jett on that thing... I think Jett wins within the first half of the first season. You put him on outdoors, he'll win instantly, too. I don't think there's any of these bikes you could put him on outdoors, he would not instantly win.
He can adapt, too.
Yeah.
He did make some interesting comments on Paul, where he's like, I only do 3 laps because I just adapt to the bike.
Yeah. So, I really, again, it's super interesting that because he brought it up multiple times.
I did hear him say that. Because I kept hearing him say MotoGP, and I was like, does he mean MXGP?
No, he fully means Moto. Because you're talking, like I said, by like 26, 27, it could just be like outside of chasing records, which would probably depend upon how close he really is to McGrath's record, which is a whole nother thing. Did you see how? Did you see Race Day Live?
Was McGrath on Race Day Live, or was he just on the night broadcast?
No, he was on Race Day Live.
So second thing about that, I think that is hilarious that he goes on Pulp, and they're like, why haven't you done anything on the TV broadcast? And he's like, they haven't even called me, but, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Next round, there he is.
There he is on both, right? Yeah.
And he's great. He's great. He's better than Ricky.
Mm-hmm. And then when Ricky fucking shoves it in his nose of like, well, how do you feel about talking about 72 with this kid? There is tension there.
He's like, let me know when he gets to 20 or 30.
Which I find funny because I go, yeah, but MC, he like has more outdoor wins than you, and he's only raced 1 season.
Yeah.
Like he's got the same amount of outdoor titles and more outdoor wins in his rookie year than you do. And then now we're into his rookie year of Supercross. I mean, it totally is. But at the rate we're seeing, and here's the thing, who is coming?
Nobody's coming, but if you look at the stat, too, how many rounds we got?
We're 11 in.
11 in, so we've got...
We're 11 in. He's won 5 and podiumed...
So how many we got left?
7 or 8.
So
we got 6 left.
So he would have to win all 6 of the last ones to tie McGrath's rookie record.
Yep.
Or no, to beat it. McGrath's rookie year, he did 10.
Yes.
So, I mean, even that might be tough, but...
I mean, it could be. Yeah. And again, I'm not necessarily saying that he's going to do things like that.
No, either way, the kid is incredible, and
I like the low key tension though, because I think realistically for McGrath, this has never been a thing that's been in his viewpoint of like someone who could actually get there. Stu is really good. Stu won a lot of races, but Stu hit the ground a lot. Yeah. So it was kind of one of those things of like, he's fast and he could do this.
Stu was the fast guy, but Stu didn't know how to turn it off.
Yeah. And I think, okay, looking at that, if you're a semi-conscious human being, you go, yeah, this kid's great and he's super fast, but I just don't ever think he's going to be able to put it together that many times without getting hurt type deal. Ricky was really good too.
Ricky just wasn't fast.
But Ricky wasn't that fast, so it was like, okay, you know. Now it's like, this kid has a shot.
Yeah.
Also, deal. Plus it took Ricky 2 years.
Well, I want to clarify my Ricky comment because somebody gave me some shit about it one time. I was like, Ricky wasn't the fastest. In Supercross, Ricky was not the fastest.
Nope.
David Villeman was kicking his ass in 02.
Yep.
Good thing Villeman went to a photo shoot because he wouldn't have won.
Yep.
Carmichael wouldn't have won that year.
Yep.
06, Stu was faster on that Cowie. He just kept tucking the front end, doing all that stuff. Reed had him covered in 04. There was just nobody. He just knew how to manage and get second every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What other title did he win? 05. I think if Stewart would have been healthy all the way through 05, those boys would have been in trouble too.
Yeah.
But outdoors, different story. I think Ricky truly was the fastest guy outdoors.
Yep. So I don't know, man. We'll see where it goes. I like the low-key tension. It's gonna be interesting to see how. I like it too. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how McGrath kind of handles it as we get closer per se. But yeah, he's still 99% chance wins this title here. Barring the Eli Tomac situation
he's
from
looking
last year.
really, really good.
Does he win all three next week? Because we got Triple Crown.
Where are we going? St. Louis?
St. Louis. So we're indoors, no mud.
Indoors, nice dirt.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he does.
It's hard to bet against it at this point.
Yeah, his starts are dialed. Like it's. Speaking of betting, you see there's
a bet site now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I went to go do it and it wasn't on there.
I don't know. I gotta stay off.
But Jett at plus 130 was like, give me that money. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if that comes back, I'm gonna get my bets in early.
Yeah. All right. So fourth place, AP. And he rode really good, man.
He rode really well.
I think this is a nice spot for him to slot in there. Like I said, 4th to 8th place there. And
who called breakout ride of the year?
Breakout ride of the year right there,
and who would have thought it been a guy on a KTM?
Yep. So Ken Roczen gets 5th. He goes down in qualifying. Night. The second qualifying session, he doesn't get a great time. Goes down in the heat. Wins the LCQ, and then yanks a second place start in the main. Unbelievable.
I mean, like a 5th place for him was a win after what I had heard a post-race interview with him, one of the pro circuit post-race.
Yeah.
And he was out, I guess, doing some gardening, blowing some leaves around at the house this week, doing some yard work, and got like covered in pollen. and his throat was all fucked up, and he was all...
how that goes. It's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, God, terrible. So he took some Dayquil or something and got kind of drowsy and just like wasn't feeling himself all day.
Unbelievable.
And then
that's the same interview where he said it was the best 5th he's ever got, right?
Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, best 5th ever. Like pretty mind-blowing. That's the only LCQ he's ever been in.
That's wild. That's
really
very wild.
Crazy.
And that start was so good from the outside.
Yeah, I missed it. I was just like, oh, look, Ken Roczen.
So good. He's just good at flat tracking.
I missed the one in the main.
Yeah.
I missed the main event. So
yeah. So anyway, all right. Okay. Eli Tomac 6th.
I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what it is. I was expecting a lot more from the man. I'm a little nervous.
It is
like is the hunger
not great.
It's not going well.
And I mean, it is not good starts.
No, like he's got like it's like Malcolm Stewart syndrome. Like he's there in the heat race,
and then gets in the main, cannot get a start, can't save his life, and then just gets bogged down. Quagmire. He's in a quagmire.
Yeah, I mean he wasn't even really coming through the pack either. I mean I guess he did. He was in like 9th or so, but he stalled out when he got where he was at.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't know. I don't think it's as easy as what he thought it was going to be. And I don't think it's going how we all thought it was going to go.
It's not great, man. It's not. It's sad to see.
It is. It's weird. And it's weird to talk about him like this because he's one of the greats. Mm-hmm. I think he goes down as one of the all-time greats.
it's almost getting a little eerily reminiscent of when Chad Reed kept coming back, and it just kept not going
well.
awesome. And it's like, oh, please just stop before things get
I think
really
that kind of tarnished Chad's
out of
name.
control. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I hope he puts something together. It'd be cool to see him win like the Denver race.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. But man,
do you see him line up for outdoors? Is he still hungry and just loves racing that much?
No.
You don't think so?
Nope. He's earned enough points to be in for SMX. Because last year I think the bubble was 150 or 170 they were talking about.
It's 150s at 170 or some shit.
So he's got enough points. He'll get into SMX if he wants to. And I think that's it.
I don't know. It's
But he's such a mystery that who would know?
It's weird, dude. It's weird, but I guess I don't know. It just sucks that it's kind of going this way because in this sport and a lot of motorsports, you're only as good as your last race kind of thing.
Yeah.
And people quickly forget like the stats he has. And
you go back a year ago, he had the red plate and was ripping.
Oh, and the title in the bag. A guy that won 3 outdoor titles in a row.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
Not a lot of 2-time Supercross champions out there. Would have been real rare air if he had 3.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, you look at this guy and all the wins he's got, too. What's he, 3rd all-time Supercross wins list?
Is he 3rd or is he 2nd?
Is he 2nd?
He passed Stu.
He is 2nd.
He's 2nd.
God, it's just so... I mean, you start thinking about that kind of stuff, it's like, damn.
Do you want to know the crazy thing? They were talking about this on the recap show, too. His average start place is like 7.3. Kenny's is 6.9.
Whole career?
No.
Or this year?
This year.
6.9 is a good number.
I'm just saying, it is wild that Kenny's won a race and is essentially relevant, and Tomac's nowhere to be seen.
Yeah. Kenny's got that 6.9. He's eating.
He's eating. All right. 7th place, Hunter Lawrence. He's riding with a hurt shoulder and wins that heat.
They got the other situation figured out?
No idea. Haven't heard an update recently.
It seems
shoulder seems to be the situation right now.
Well, it seems like the other situation was taken care of. He seemed to be energized at the race, all that. Can we talk about that issue? Can we just say it?
Nope, we're not going to talk about it.
Okay. Damn. All right. Well, how about a Lawrence brother heat race 450 win?
Sweet. First time ever. Brothers have swept the heat races.
Kind of cool.
It's kind of neat. Here's the funny thing. Did you hear our discussion last week about him and Justin Cooper?
No.
And Justin and I were like, man, it just seems like Justin Cooper's had such a better year. He's had such a better year. And then you look up the finishes, and it's like they're the same person.
They're the exact same, which we kind of...
The only difference is that Justin Cooper has that qualifying speed, so he's at the top of the board on qualifying, and you're like, holy shit. Where, like, Hunter Lawrence doesn't have that. But outside of that, they both have a DNF. They both have a...
we kind of assumed they would be both about the same guy.
Yeah,
so.
which is basically what they are. And to be fun, and just for funsies, it's like you have Hunter's 7th and Justin Cooper's 8th. And I think it's I mean, as far as I'm concerned, these are great rides for these guys.
Yeah, Hunter Lawrence, he was great at the end of the main last night too.
Mm-hmm.
He just keeps trucking.
Yep.
He's
and
like very Dungy-ish.
And I think outdoor he'll be a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a little bit better, but
yeah.
I think this is essentially where he slots in, man.
His 250 title last year, it was very Dungy-ish. Wasn't flashy. He just put his head to the grindstone and did it. So.
And I mean, the thing is too is once you kind of get past the next couple of years, okay, Tomac's going to retire, Roczen's going to retire, Webb's probably going to retire in 2 or 3 years. Then he's like right up into a top 5 guy for the last few years of his career, and like, okay, sweet,
make a solid living.
Justin Cooper 8th. Got anything on him?
No, I would like a 191 jersey if you can go to your parents' house and find one.
Jesus, we're just not getting off that one.
Yeah.
Barsha 9th. I heard he's much happier with the bike now.
Can we call TCD and see if they're the ones doing a suspension?
I don't know. I was told he doesn't have that.
I know he's got an outside service center doing the suspension. They're doing his setting.
Okay.
So I had read, and this is courtesy of Michael Lindsay. He's good at finding all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Vital MX Pit Bits. Check them out. Love that. If you can go through and look at some of those, it's cool.
Interesting.
But AP is the only one that's on in-house production suspension from KTM Group.
Interesting.
Sexton is on his own company shock setting, which is what Webb tried to do, and they told him no. Obviously, we know the fork situation.
Webb, in all fairness, Webb told him that he wanted a stock frame too, and they told him no.
Oh my god!
Like to the point that that's why he went and bought the bike.
Yeah,
because he took the frame to the shop and told him put this on the bike, and they told him no. At least that's the story I'm hearing.
Well, that'd be funny if you walked in with. I could
with
just
the frame.
I could just see him
totally
walking through the front door with a frame.
Totally see him doing
That is funny. I would like to ask him that. Like, did you just walk through the front door with the frame?
I mean, yeah. Maybe at some point I'll get back to another race this year and I'll see that. And actually ask him.
And then I think Mookie and Barsha were running like factory outers and stuff like that, but internally there was an independent shop doing their stuff.
Interesting.
So it could be TCD, it could be AEO, it could be Power Band, like any of those WP suspension companies.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I heard him and Mookie were going to do testing in California last week, so...
Yeah, I mean, Barsha's gotten a little better, but it ain't Barsha.
No, I mean, but then again, too, you go who's in front of him, and it's like, who's he beating that's in front of him, you know?
Who'd he beat last year that's in front of him?
Yeah, between that, and then you throw in Jett, and then, like, you've got Hunter and J. Coop ahead of him here, which is, like, technically, yeah, I could see them kind of beating him because they're beginning, he's tail end. Yeah, so...
So is it as bad as it looks?
I think
it's kind of what you're saying.
Where I think it's kind of right where you slot in. Yeah. Essentially, I'm not really panicking.
So maybe it's just not as bad as he looks, and we're just panicking for no reason.
But for the next guy,
who is the next guy?
It's your coworker, Jason Anderson.
Oh, my coworker. Both my coworkers didn't do too good last night.
I'm not worried about AC. AC is what it is.
He knows. He understands. But yeah, what the hell is that?
It's not great at all.
His gear looked good though.
It's not great at all.
Gear bike combo looks sick.
Okay, let me throw you this TLR tinfoil hat here.
Ooh,
you ready?
That Club MX ain't helping.
Nope, that's not it. No, actually, have you watched any of the club videos with him in it?
The one of him, like no, like the behind the scenes stuff.
I just watched the one yesterday or the other day before Indianapolis, and he was riding with Phil, and Phil was pissed off because Marchbanks, and then he goes, God, just give me some fucking space, man. And Ando's like, hey, make sure to tell the AMA when we get to the next race that you need 5-second head start on everybody.
Let's go to that for a second. The Club MX thing is very interesting to me, actually.
Okay.
Like he had mentioned, and nobody had really asked him about it until just recently, and he was like, yeah, I didn't find any places to ride in Florida, which is weird because there's a lot of places in Florida that he could probably go ride. It's almost like he doesn't want to ride with high-end competition. Maybe. He doesn't want to go ride with a Roczen, doesn't want to go ride with a Sexton.
Well, he did that for years there with what's-his-nuts, so...
Yeah, so maybe he's a low-key guy, and that's the club atmosphere, so... And he also mentioned he's going to go back there for outdoors. For some stuff. But I thought he was going to be a lot better on these ruddy, beat-up tracks because of that. I mean, you go down there and watch some of the stuff those guys ride during the week.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. And I thought it would pay off.
Well, let me tell you my TLR tinfoil hat here, and you tell me.
Hang on.
Okay.
Here's what I got, too. I almost think that him riding there with the Freddie Norins and riding, like, with those guys, no disrespect, but it's making him slower.
Well, that could be. Or,
let's hear what you got.
TLR tinfoil hat here.
Ooh, put it on.
He could be throwing away this season to get out of his contract early to go to Triumph next year.
I don't know who they'd grab. I don't know who Kawasaki would get.
I don't think he gives a shit who Kawasaki's going to grab, and I don't know either.
But knowing Kawasaki and how legitimate their paperwork is, unless you're putting something in your locker like Davey Millsaps, like you're locked in. I don't know. I don't think there's no way of getting out of that one.
I mean, I've heard that last year there was a come to Jesus moment with him partway through the year of like, you got to get your shit together here, which is partially what happened, which
Well,
then
that was
started
with the child. And all
yeah,
that.
which then started this year off and a little bit better leg here, obviously, as we saw. However, now seeing how it's kind of starting to spiral, it really makes me go,
Oh, they're having a conversation with him. I know the Japanese are not happy right now.
But that's what I'm saying is he
and
purposefully
he has a tendency
doing this to do stuff because he wants to go back to his.
He mentioned that when he was taking dives on purpose when he rode for Husky after Bobby left because he just didn't want the pressure and shit.
Like I said,
kind of
TLR tinfoil hat.
I see where
there.
you're going with it.
It would not surprise me at all in this offseason if we get an announcement that Kawasaki has released him, and the next day there's an announcement that he is riding Triumph 450s next year.
And it's almost, you know what, to branch off that a little bit, the Triumph compound is on the East Coast in Georgia.
Not that
far from Club.
Yep.
So he's kind of getting his feet wet in the area.
See how we're pulling a Coach Rob here, and we're just reading the tea leaves.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Some of the club guys, when that track is shitty, they go over and ride at the Triumph compound.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no doubt he's going to Triumph, but it's just a matter of getting out of that contract. I don't know how that's going to work. Put some weed in your locker. I don't know.
I mean, what do you do if he just doesn't show up to race?
I don't know, man.
You gonna sue him?
Do Davies' locker.
I don't know, man. It's just one of those things, like the way these, because
when you start going down that tinfoil hat idea and start putting some pieces together.
I mean, when you go, he went second, and then the mud he was 12, and then 5, 4, 5, 2, and then it's been 10, 9, 6, 4, 10.
And he was up toward the front at the beginning of last night, too.
And the thing, and he faded.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes me wonder. Now, there also has been a theory thrown out of like, well, maybe new bike, they haven't got it dialed. It's dialed in, but not dialed in for these soft-ass ruddy tracks like this.
Yeah, I guess I could see that, but
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's something interesting there, and if there wasn't this Triumph team that is his old mentor running it, and all the guys he likes, and they're gonna go 450 racing next year because Joey already dropped that little tidbit. If there wasn't all of that, then I would be like, man, I don't know. It's got to be a bike issue or something. But because there's all of that,
yeah, I could see that.
It makes me go,
Yeah.
I'll put some feelers out this week.
Who are you going to put some feelers out to?
I got all sorts of people I'll put feelers out to.
Oh.
We'll see what happens here. So,
Should I DM him? You think he'll respond? We'll get him in-show DM again?
You can DM him, but I don't think we'll get
Maybe
a
I'll go in the
response.
employee directory and get his number.
There you go. There you go. Get his number, text him.
I don't think it's in there.
I mean, it has to be, right? He's an
It
employee.
might be. I don't know.
See if AC's on there. Let's call him live on the show right now.
Yeah, fuck yeah. No, I'm not doing any of that kind of
All
stuff.
right.
So I'm on the sales side, not the race team side.
All right. So Stu is 11th. You hear the controversy about his dad last week being an asshole to people
So I
at
commented
Indy?
on that Facebook post.
Did you?
I did.
What'd you say?
So I was like, hey, devil's advocate here, but if my son is racing this treacherous 450 main in a ruddy-ass track and performing at a really high level, and I'm in tune because I enjoy watching my son race, I'm probably going to be an asshole when people are probably trying to have a conversation with me while I'm watching my kid race.
You know,
And
I
if
thought
it was,
the
if
same
it was
thing.
after the checker flag flew,
yeah.
he probably would have been a whole different guy.
Yep.
But if you're in tune, you're locked in, think about it, put yourself in his shoes.
No, I'm
hey,
not.
man, can I have a picture? Can I have an autograph? Blah, blah, blah. And then they want to throw he took the kid's seat or something.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the last fucking thing he was thinking about. He's watching his kid out there on this sketchy-ass Austrian Husqvarna.
Yep.
That doesn't know what it's going to do.
Yep.
He's probably grabbing the first empty seat and sitting in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Get off his ass.
I think it was very blown out of proportion there, but...
Yeah, it seemed like a very white trash post to me.
So is this Stu's farewell tour?
I don't know, man. It might be.
We'll
Get him a fishing boat.
We'll get to it when we get into the halftime report here a little bit.
Yeah, get him a fishing boat, and but he's just very mediocre.
Yeah.
Steel Frame Gang has not been good.
Benny Bloss goes 12th there, and from broken collarbone to racing again. This broken collarbones are not a thing anymore.
Did he just go to Cody Shock's doctor or what?
So from what I understand, it wasn't actually broken, but it is separated from the clavicle, and it was misdiagnosed as a broken one.
So I'm on board with the pulp conspiracy theories on Cody Shock as well.
That it's not really broken, they're just doing it for publicity.
And he was walking around with a backpack on and shit.
Yeah. The Cody Shock one's very
Weird.
Yes. We'll call it that.
And he's not an idiot either. Like, why
No.
not try to milk some publicity?
Yeah.
Out of it, but
So,
anyway,
yeah. So
he did come from a couple positions back in that main.
I heard he
too,
was
so
really stoked on his ride last night.
Good for
which
Benny.
Doesn't surprise me. That's a good ride for Benny.
good for him. I would
Beat a Benny.
not have picked him in fantasy. Sorry.
Nope. Mitchell Oldenburg shows up because their team just randomly shows up to races on a 450, 13th. Okay.
Yeah, good for him.
AC 14th, farewell tour, no
riding
big
it in.
deal. Just riding her in, getting out there, getting some reps in. Vince Freeze on a 450 randomly, 15th. Okay.
It's my guy. Good rider.
Shane McElrath, 16th there.
just top 5 guy now.
Just top 5 guy now. Ty Masterpool was wearing tuxedo
Looks sweet.
gear for 17th.
Hey, in the 450 main.
In the 450 main,
for not being a supercross guy.
Derek Drake, 18th. Cade Clayson, 19th.
Not in the way.
Ryan Brees. Can we talk about that LCQ?
Oh, the LCQ. I
Dude,
thought he
with
was going to
Freeze,
kill Vince.
Brees, and dude, I was so pumped because I was like, Brees is not scared.
He's not scared, yeah.
If Freeze takes him high, he is going to come back and kill him.
Yes.
And then Chiz just over the bars. Oh my God, that LCQ was incredible. The 251 was kind of boring. That one was just so good.
Oh, yeah. Chiz was glitching in the Matrix on the line.
Oh man, all the weirdness has happened in there.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up in a tinfoil hat.
Okay. Rod Bell, 21st.
Did not have that on my bingo card.
Yeah, and Mitchell Harrison went down 22nd. Rough night for him.
I've been making some mains lately,
Talked to him in Indy.
Yeah?
Told him I was going to DM him. He said he would come on the show. He then said that if I DM him, he will block me. So I'm not really sure how this is going to go.
Huh?
We were joking around about it.
Oh, gosh. I was like, what in the hell? You thought
we were joking.
Was Justin like the door opener on that one?
Yeah.
Did he know Justin?
Yeah, him and Justin were talking.
Recognized him?
Yeah, and then I went over there, and I said, well, at least I'm not interviewing you while you're on Pro Circuit in a Geico Honda shirt anymore, so that's cool.
Yeah, he laughed at you.
Yeah, we had a good...
He said, yeah, you're a spode.
Yeah, pretty much.
He said, what way do you run your grips?
Yeah. All right. That's been your 450 race recap brought to you by our friends at Gutter Works. Always well hung like Cameron Sackadoo.